I used to think that certain people just had the power to ruin my day. And honestly, they were very good at it. Or at least that's what it felt like. It took me a long time to see what was actually happening. And now that I've seen for myself, it's just a huge relief because what I know now has completely changed where I thought the problem was. Someone says something. Maybe it's a comment, a tone, a snide look. And yes, it might not feel good, but the moment itself is usually pretty short and it goes by pretty quickly. What doesn't end is what we do with it afterwards. We replay that moment over and over again in our minds and in our thinking. And we start wondering what they meant, what we should have said, what this means about them, or what does it mean about me? And we're no longer in the moment of when they said that. We're in the present moment. And we're in a version of what we're creating in our minds, layer by layer and thought by thought. We're bringing that moment into the present moment. And what's so easy to miss, and it's helpful to see, is the only thing that can keep you from feeling grateful and alive and content, joyful and at peace. The only thing that can keep you from experiencing everything that is naturally yours is a thought. Just one thought. Not someone else's thought, your thought. Whatever thought you're entertaining in that moment that feels more urgent than your peace. That's the only thing standing between you and happiness. And I know that might sound almost too simple, but it's one of the most hopeful things that I know because it just reminds me that my happiness is who I am. We are all thinkers, and thinking is one of the most extraordinary things about us as human beings. It allows us to create, to imagine, to problem solve, connect with one another, to build something out of nothing. It is a remarkable gift. But that same gift, that same system that allows us to design a beautiful life, can also turn against us when we don't see what's happening. Because our thoughts don't come with a label that says, this might not be true. They show up as facts. They feel real. They feel urgent. They feel like the most important thing in the room. And so we tend to believe them. So someone says something, and in a split second, the mind creates meaning. They don't respect me. Or that was intentional. Or this always happens. And now the body's responding. The tightening, the heat, that activated feeling in your chest maybe. And it genuinely feels like you're reacting to the other person, but you're not. You're reacting to your thinking about the other person. And as I've been deepening my understanding, this distinction has really helped me out in my life. This is the insight that I find genuinely helps to free people, and I want to say it with a lot of compassion because I've lived this for myself. Most of what we're upset about, we made up. Not on purpose, not consciously. We filled in the blanks. We've created the meaning. We told ourselves a story, and then we reacted to the story as though it were the only possible truth. I have seen this in my own life so many times. Something small happens, and my mind quietly starts building it. Like, remember when your mom said you stop making a mountain out of a molehill, and it becomes something personal, something heavy and needs to be addressed and something to worry about. And for a while, or years, decades, it can feel completely real and justified. And as I begun to slow down and realize, that might not be true. Is that true? I can see that I've constructed an entire experience based on something I assumed. And in that moment of seeing, everything softens. And it's not because I replaced one thought with another thought, but simply because I saw thought for what it is, a thought, not a fact, not true, just a thought that I had been treating as reality. And when you see a thought as thought, when you really see that, it naturally begins to lose its grip. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to fight it or fix it. You can just stop building on it. And that's when the whole structure starts to come down, one thought at a time. And this is where our feelings become one of the most helpful things that we have, because your feelings are never there to punish you. They're not there to tell you something's wrong with you. They are simply feedback. They're showing you in every moment in real time whether your thinking is taking you toward your natural state or away from it. When you feel tight and reactive and angry or overwhelmed, that's not a signal that the situation is the problem. It's a signal that you're caught in some insecure thinking, and your own inner wisdom is gently trying to guide you away from it. Your system is actually working beautifully. It's pointing at the thinking, not at the world. And the moment that thinking settles, even slightly, something shifts. You start to come back to clarity, come back to perspective, back to new and fresh thinking, back to yourself. Think of it like this. Imagine a glass of water with mud stirred through it. You can't force the mud to settle. You can't reach in and pick out the mud. But if you simply stop stirring, the mud settles on its own. The water clears itself. Your mind works the same way. It has its own natural capacity to return to stillness, to be clear, that settled place that's always there underneath the mud. Let's try something together for a moment. I want you to think of someone who tends to get on your nerves or under your skin, someone who bugs you. And imagine they say something dismissive to you. So just sit with that image for a moment. They say something that hurts your feelings. Now notice what happens in your body. Is there some tightening, maybe some heat, or a drop in your stomach? Now notice the thought that comes with that feeling. They don't respect me. This isn't fair. I need to defend myself. Just notice that thought. And now, instead of arguing with it or replacing it, just stop feeding into it. You don't have to do anything with it. Just let it sit there without adding to it. And notice what happens. Even without changing the imaginary situation, even though nothing out there has changed at all, do you notice your body shift, even just a teeny bit? That's the whole point. Your entire experience, the tightening, the heat, the sad, worried feelings, the emotional charge, changed based only on what you did with the thought. Not based on what they said, not based on what happened, based on thought. That's how powerful this is. You are the thinker, and you have the free will to choose what you think about. Like that power belongs to you. So the real fight is never with them. It's with the meaning your mind is creating and keeps replaying and keeps bringing back into the present moment long after the actual moment has passed. The argument in your head, the rehearsing, the defending, the ruminating, going over it in the morning and at night has nothing to do with them. That is you in the power of thought without yet seeing what you're doing. And when you begin to really see that, and it's not as a concept, not as something you're hearing now from me, but in your direct experience, when you experience that for yourself, you don't have to keep fighting in the same way anymore. You know, you don't have to win the argument in your head. You don't have to win the argument with them. You don't have to fix the other person. You don't have to fix yourself. You know, you don't have to resolve every situation. You can just see the thought for what it is, let it settle, and return to the place that's always, always there, always close at hand, that quiet, clear, grounded place that no one can take from you because it lives inside you, not out there in that person or that circumstance. And that's where your freedom is. That's where my freedom is. It's always been there. It's waiting for you to stop looking everywhere else.